We are continuing with the structure of atom of 9th class. Let us do the text questions. Question number 1 is, what are canal rays? So canal rays, these are the stream of the positively charged gaseous ions which have been produced by the knocking off one or two valence electron from their neutral gaseous parent atoms, and these positively charged gaseous ions, they appear to be moving from anode to cathode, so they are also called as anode rays, or they are called as canal rays. Then we have the question number 2. So this is a stream of positively charged gaseous ions which move from anode to cathode. Then we have question number 2. If an atom has one electron and one proton, will it carry any charge or not? So if an atom has one electron and one proton, it is neutral, it will not carry any charge. On the basis of Thomson model, how will you explain that atom is neutral as a whole? Atom is neutral. So on the basis of Thomson model, according to Thomson, the atom may be regarded as a uniform sphere of positive electricity in which electrons, they are negatively charged, they are embedded in the sea of it will embedded. So it gives us the watermelon type of picture. The total positive charge, that should be equal to the total negative charge. So when positive and negative charges are equal, it means atom will be electrically neutral. Since total number of positive charges, that is proton, are equal to total number of negative charges, they are electron. So atom is neutral. It gives watermelon type of picture where red spongy mass represents protons and the black seeds, they represent the electrons in this model. Draw the sketch of Bohr model. We have already drawn this. Draw sketch of Bohr's model. So Bohr model consists of a sphere of a dense positively center, that is called as nucleus, where electrons, where protons and neutrons, they are embedded. Then we have number of cells, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on. This is our nucleus in the center, which have nucleons. They are neutron plus protons. Then we have different cell, K cell, L cell, M cell, N cell. These are the different cells. They are also represented by 1, 2, 3 and 4 and so on. And these electrons, they keep electron by 2n square root. So this is the sketch of the Bohr model of atom, where center contains the nucleus, which is having positive charge due to protons, and around which there are large number of circular paths, which are called as cells, orbits, or energy levels. What do you think would be the observation if alpha particle scattering experiment is carried out using a foil of metal other than gold? Almost all the alpha particle would have passed through that metal foil undeflected, because there was a large empty space in the structure of atom. Then name 3 subatomic particles. Then we have question number 5. Name 3 subatomic particles. Answer is these particles are electrons, protons, and neutrons. Electrons are negatively charged, protons are positively charged, and neutrons are the neutral subatomic particle. Helium atom has atomic mass of 4U. It has 2 protons in its nucleus. How many neutrons will it have? So, if we have the structure of calculate electron, proton, and neutrons in helium nuclei. So, electrons are 2, protons are 2, neutrons are 4 minus 2, mass number minus atomic number, it is 2. So all are 2 in number. Then write the distribution of electrons in carbon and sodium atoms. This is our question number 7. Distribution of electrons in carbon and sodium. So carbon is atomic number 6, mass number is 12. Electrons, it will be having 2, 4. K cell has 2 electron, L cell has 4 electron. Then we have sodium, atomic number is 11, mass number is 23. It will have 2, 8, 1 electron. K, L, M cell. M cell has 1 electron, that is called as the valence cell of this atom. Now we have next question. If K and L cell of the atom they are full, what would be the total number of electrons in that species? So K cell can keep 2 electrons. L cell can keep 8 electrons. So total number of electrons, that will be 10 electrons here. So atomic number of this species will be 10 and mass number that will be 20. It would be neon in this case. Now, how will you find the valency of chlorine, sulfur, and magnesium? Question is, find valencies of sodium, chlorine, and magnesium. So, we have the same question, chlorine, so sulfur and magnesium. Let us take sulfur also. To find out the valency, let us study their electronic configuration. It is 281. So, its valency will be 1. Plus, because it will lose 1 electron to acquire stable configuration. Then we have Cl. Cl has 17 atomic number, 2, 8 and 7, needs 1 electron to have Cl negative, 2, 8, 8. So its valence is -1 here. Then we have magnesium. Its atomic number is 12, 282. Loses 2 electrons to acquire Mg2 positive. Valence is 2. Then we have sulfur. It has 16 atomic number. It is 286. Needs 2 electrons to get noble gas configuration, stable configuration. So it is S2 negative, so valency is 2. So in this manner we can establish the valency of all these atoms which are given to us. If the number of electrons in an atom are 8, the number of protons are also 8, then what is the atomic number of that atom? Atomic number will be 8, mass number will be 16, number of electrons 8, number of neutrons 8, number of protons 8. With the help of table 4.1 given in the book, tell the number of oxygen and sulfur atom. Complete the oxygen and sulfur atom. Now for oxygen and sulfur atom, complete the table. For oxygen and sulfur atom, this is oxygen, this is sulfur. Tell atomic number of these. It is 8, it is 16. Then mass number of both. Mass number of oxygen is 16, it is 32. Number of electrons in both, you will be having 8 here, 16 here. Number of protons, 8, 16 here. Number of neutrons in this case, 16 minus 8, 8, 32 minus 16, 16. And what will be their valency? They will be having 2 valency. Because both of them they are having deficiency of 2 electrons, so they will be showing valency of 2. Now for symbol HDT, tabulate 3 fundamental particles found in them. So what is 3 symbols? Hydrogen, this is protium. Then we have deuterium. Then we have tritium. These are the 3 symbols of the isotopes of hydrogen. Then we have mass number of each. Here it is 1, it is 2, it is 3. Atomic number of each, their isotope atomic number will be same in 3 isotopes, and number of electrons, they are 1 in this case, 1 in this case, 1 in this case. Number of neutrons, here it is 0, it is 1 in this case and 2 in this case. So these are there. Complete table of these elements. Then number of neutrons in first case 0, second case 1, third case 2, electron, proton, they remain same in both the cases. Proton is also same, 1, 1. Then write electronic configuration of any pair of isotopes and isobars. So we will be doing this question. First let us grab it. Write electronic configuration of any pair of isotopes and isobars. We take isotopes of oxygen. We have 2 isotopes of oxygen, O8 16, O8 17. We have third isotope, O8 18. Now electronic configuration of all the isotopes, that will be 2 and 6. K cell contain 2 electrons and L cell will contain 6 electrons. Then we have isotopes, isobars. These are 2 isobar, argon 18 and 40, calcium 20 and 40. Then we have the number of electrons in argon, atomic number is 18, configuration 288. And then we have calcium, atomic number 20, configuration will be 288 and 2. So this is the electronic configuration of isotopes. Then we have isobars. Similarly, we have another pair of isobars. They are silicon 14 and 30, phosphorus 15 and 31. They are the isotones here. So let us do this question also. write the electronic configuration of isotones. So in this case, configuration will be 2, 8 and 4. In this case, it will be 2, 8 and 5. So in this manner, we have established the configuration of isotopes, pair of isotope, pair of isobars and pair of isotones. All of these, the configuration has been written. Now compare the properties of electron, proton and neutrons. Now what are the properties? These are the question number 4. Compare properties of electron, proton and neutron. That is, mass of electron is 9.1 into 10 raised to power minus 31 kilogram. This is 1.67 into 10 raised to power minus 27 kilogram. It is having same mass. Then charge on this electron minus 1.602 into 10 raised to power minus 19 coulomb. It is plus 1.602 into 10 raised to power minus 19 coulomb. Here it is no charge, zero charge is present in this case. So these are the three parameters. Then E by M ratio for electron is 1.6. For electron 1.76 into 10 raised to power 8 coulomb per gram. And it is lightest minimum in case of the protons or hydrogen ions, and 9.58 into 10 raised to power 4 coulomb per gram. It is having no E by M ratio, 0. Now what are the limitations of J.J. Thomson model of atom? Number 1, it could not explain the stability of atom because electrons which were having negative charge, they were so close to each other that there was a repulsive interaction between them. Due to this repulsion, the atom could not be a stable atom. Similarly, in this case, the positively charged proton, they are also very close to each other. Therefore, they will also repel each other and will destabilize the model of atom. Second, it could not explain hydrogen spectrum where large number of lines are seen in the hydrogen spectrum. This model could not explain that. Now, what are the limitations of Rutherford model? The Rutherford model was flopped by Max Planck's quantum theory of radiation, according to which when any oppositely charged particle is moving around another oppositely charged particle, then it definitely experiences the attraction by that oppositely charged center, and due to this attraction it will go on losing energy, and its orbit or its circular motion, that will go on decreasing, and the radius of the circular path, it will also go on decreasing. And one time will come when this particle will fall in the central part which is having opposite charge to that. So this was the limitation which was put forth to Rutherford, that electron is having negative charge, it is moving around the positively charged nucleus, there will be attraction between electron and the positively charged nucleus. So due to this attraction, this system will definitely go on losing energy, and the path of the electron, that will become shorter and shorter and shorter, and ultimately at one time it will definitely fall in the nucleus, that will result in the destabilization or collapse of atom, but atom does not collapse. So Rutherford could not explain this phenomenon. Secondly, he could not explain the line spectrum of hydrogen, which was also a drawback of your Thomson model. It became the drawback of Rutherford model also. Therefore, these two models, they were discarded, and then the Bohr model was proposed, which we have already discussed. In Bohr model, it is said that electrons and protons, they are fixed. Protons remain in the nuclei, electrons keep on revolving in the circular path around the nucleus, and they are centripetal force and centrifugal force, they balances electrons and nucleus. So electron cannot fall in the nucleus, so atom is stable. So Bohr model successfully explained the stability of atom by saying that electron by themselves cannot change their position, they will keep on revolving in the allotted energy level without losing any energy. So and nucleus will remain in the center of the atom, they cannot change their position by own. That's why the atom does not collapse at all. So this stability of atom was well explained by the Bohr model of atom. Then we have the compare all the models of atom which we have discussed. So if we compare all the models of atom, Thomson considered atom to be a sphere of positive electricity where electrons were embedded. It just gave the picture of watermelon type of model. It could not explain stability of the atom. It could not explain hydrogen spectrum. Then Rutherford gave his model on the basis of his very famous scattering experiment on the gold foil. He said that atom consists of two parts. Number one is nucleus, that is centrally situated dense part of the atom where protons reside, and then he gave the extra nuclear part. It was the space around that positively charged center where the electrons revolve in the allotted circular paths. So this was the Rutherford model. It also suffered the same drawbacks which were suffered by the Thomson. It could not explain hydrogen spectrum. Secondly, it could not explain the stability of the atom. There was a drawback that electron will fall in the nucleus by losing energy continuously and atom will collapse. So this concept was not, these drawbacks were not explained by Rutherford, and these drawbacks, they were well explained by the Bohr model. Bohr successfully explained the hydrogen spectrum, the number of lines which were found in the hydrogen spectrum, they were well explained by the Bohr model. He said that a small sample of hydrogen gas filled in the discharge tube contains large number of hydrogen molecules, and each molecule contains 2 atoms of hydrogen, and each atom has 1 electron. So when we pass the high voltage across this gas taken in the discharge tube, the electron, first of all the molecule, they get dissociated into atoms, and these electrons of each atom, they absorb energy from the applied voltage and they move to the higher levels, which are called as the excited states of the electron. These are when these electrons return back, each electron emits a photon of light. Since there are millions of electrons, we will get large number of lines in the hydrogen spectrum. So Bohr successfully explained the hydrogen spectrum. He successfully explained the stability of the atom by saying that electron by itself cannot change its position. Electron will keep on revolving in the allotted energy level without losing energy, and nucleus will not change its position. Electron cannot fall in the nucleus. That's why atom is stable. Then he said, then next question is define valency and explain it by taking example of silicon. Define valency. Explain it by taking example of silicon. And second element given to us is oxygen. First of all, valency. It is defined as the combining capacity of an atom of an element, or it is equal to the number of hydrogens or number of chlorines, or double the number of oxygen atom with which an atom of an element combines. So in this case, let us explain the valency of silicon. Silicon can combine with 4 hydrogen, it can combine with 4 chlorine, it can combine with 2 oxygen. So in this case, valency combining capacity of silicon is 4 hydrogen. So valency is 4 here. Double the number of oxygen. 1 silicon consumes 2 oxygen. So double this number, you will be getting 4 valency of silicon here. Similarly, for oxygen, we have H2O, where oxygen combined with 2 hydrogen, valency is 2. It combines with Cl2Cl, valency is 2. And in this case, it is combining with the oxygen itself. Oxygen combined itself with another oxygen, valency is 0 here. So oxygen exhibits valency of 2 in these compounds, and when it combines with itself, it will be having valency 0. If it combines with F fluorine, then it will again have the valency 2. So we have the different valencies of oxygen, different compounds. Then we have Explain atomic number, mass number, isotope, isobars. We have already defined that. Atomic number is the number of electrons or protons present in an atom. Mass number is the sum of nucleons, neutron plus protons. Isotopes, these are the items of same element having same atomic number but different mass number. We have studied isotopes of hydrogen, protium, deuterium and tritium. Then we have isobar. These are the atoms of different element having different atomic number but same mass number. So these are the isotope. Now what are the uses of isotope? Isotopes of uranium, they are used in the nuclear reactor as a fuel. Then cobalt 2760 isotope is used in the treatment of cancer. Iodine 53 131 isotope is used in the treatment of goiter disease, which is called as Ganga disease. Then we have the next question. Na positive has completely filled K and L cell. Na positive has completely filled K and L cell. If we take the configuration of neutral sodium, it will be 281. When it loses one electron, it acquires positive charge. Now atomic number 11 minus 1, it will be having 10 electrons. So its configuration will be 28. It has K and L configuration, K and L cell completely filled in this case. So this is the configuration of sodium ion. Then we come to if bromine atom is in the form of say two isotopes 75 39. Let us do this problem. Our problem is if bromine atom is in the form of say two isotopes. We are having atomic number of 35 and mass number of 79. It is 49.6% percentage. Then we have bromine 3581. Its percentage is 50.3%. Now he asks us to calculate the average mass of bromine atom. Now average mass of bromine atom can be calculated by multiplying mass number with percentage plus 81 multiplied by 50.3 upon. Now how many mass we have at bottom? We have 100 here. So this will be solved. It will come out to be 80.006. This is the average atomic mass of bromine. Then the average atomic mass of sample of X is 16.2. What are the percentage of isotopes of X816 and X818? So this is our next problem. If percentage of average atomic mass of a sample of X816 is 16.2 unified mass. This is U. What would be the percentage of isotopes? Yeah, X816 and X818. So we have to find the percentage. Let percentage of X816 is P. Then percentage of X818 will be 100 minus P. Total percentage is 100. It will be 100 minus P. Now we can calculate the average relative mass by multiplying this P into 16 plus you are getting the 100 minus P multiplied by 18 upon 100. This will be the average atomic mass. So this comes out to be P is equal to 90 here. P comes out to be 90 here. Percentage of X816. It is 90 and that of X818 would be 10%. So this is the percentage of these two. Then if Z is 3, what would be the valency of element? Name the element also. Z is 3, Z stands for, question number 3, if Z is 3, Z stands for your mass number, atomic number, it stands for atomic number. If Z is equal to 3, what is electronic configuration of element? And name it, name element. If Z is equal to 3, then it is lithium. Electronic configuration is 2:1. This is the answer of this question. Then composition of the nuclei of two atomic masses X and Y, they are given below. The composition of the nuclei. Are given with the composition, protons and neutrons. These are two species X and Y. Protons and neutrons 6 and 6 in this case. In case of the Y, they are 6 and 8. So adding these two, we will get the mass number of these species. This is 12. Mass number of this is 12. So atomic number, it will be 6 here. Here mass number is 14. It will be silicon. With your atomic number in this case, that will be equal to again 6. So these should be the two isotopes. The number of protons and electrons, they are equal in this species. Then for the following statement, write true and false only. J.J. Thomson proposed the nucleus of an atom contains only nucleons. So this statement regarding this is a false statement. Nucleus of J.J. Thomson has not predicted that nucleus contains nucleons. Second is, a neutron is formed by an electron and a proton combining together. Therefore, it is a neutral. So this statement is again false. Neutron is not formed by combination of the electron and proton. Then third statement is the mass of electron is 1/2000th of the mass of proton. So this statement is correct. This is 2000 times lesser than that of the mass of proton. This statement is correct. Then isotopes of iodine, they are used in making tincture of iodine. This is not a true statement. This is false statement. Then we have the next question. Rutherford alpha particle scattering experiment was responsible for discovery of atomic nucleus, electron, proton and neutron. So it was responsible for the discovery of atomic nucleus, because 1 out of 20,000 particles was deflected back at the incident path. So it was suggested that there is a dense positively charged center situated in the center of the atom, that was named as nucleus later on. Then we have the next, isotopes of an element have same physical properties, they have different chemical properties, they have same physical properties, they have similar chemical properties, they have different number of neutrons, that is wrong, they are different atomic number, that is wrong. So one correct statement is they have same physical properties. Then number of valence electrons in chloride ions. So number of valence electrons in chloride ion, it will be having configuration 288, because it gains 1 electron. So it will be having 8 valence electrons. So chloride ion will be having 8 valence electron in its outermost shell. Then we have the next question, which one of the following is a correct electronic configuration of sodium? First configuration is 2,8, it will make 10. Sodium is not having atomic number 10, it is having atomic number of 11. Second choice is 281, this is correct choice. Then third choice is 821, that is wrong. Then we have 218, that is also wrong. It should be 2 in K cell, 8 in L cell and 1 in the M cell. So that choice is okay here. Now complete the following table. A species having atomic number 9, what would be the mass number of that? A species with atomic number 9, it is fluorine. Mass number of this species will be 19. We have already dictated in the table. Then number of neutrons in this species, they are 19 minus 9, that will be 10. Number of protons 9, number of electrons 9, and species is F. Then we have a species with atomic number 16, it would be sulfur. Mass number will be 32 in this case, and number of neutrons in this case 32 minus 16, 16, and the number of protons in this case, that will be 16. Number of electrons 16. The species is sulfur. Then we have the species whose mass number is 24. If mass number is 24, this might be magnesium. We have detected the mass number of magnesium. Atomic number of this species will be 12. Number of electrons, they will be 12, since they are equal to the atomic number. Number of protons will also be 12, and this species is magnesium. Then we have a species whose atomic number is 1 but mass number is 2. It is deuterium, 1H2. Then we have the number of neutrons in this species, they are 1. And then we have the number of protons, that is 1. Then number of electrons 1, and this species is 1H2. Then we have another species whose atomic number and mass number is 1. This is protium. No neutrons are present in this species. It has 1 proton, it has 1 electron. This is represented by 1H1. So this is all about the text questions of your structure of atoms. Tomorrow we'll take the few more questions. So this is all about our structure of atom. We have already discussed all the concepts. If we find some more questions which are more important, we'll do that. Thank you very much.